All right, welcome to our Exercise 101 workshop. The purpose of this is really to help you understand, one, why it's important to exercise, two, how to get in the best shape in the shortest amount of time, so to be very efficient and effective with our workouts. And I want to go over at the end of this how to access the workouts, the Max T3 plan that we talk about here in the office. So let's go ahead and dig into some statistics about how sedentary we are as a nation. The problem is that only 20% of Americans actually exercise the way they should. Every time I do a doctor's report, I ask, raise your hand if you work out, and most of the time people don't raise their hands. The problem is that most people don't have enough time to do so, which is, again, why I'm doing this workshop here for you tonight, so you can find out how to get in the best shape of your life in the shortest amount of time. But what's scarier is 1/3 of America's youth is actually unfit for military service. And these statistics keep getting worse and worse. 68.5% of adults are overweight or obese, and nearly 40% of children in Georgia are actually overweight or obese, which is second highest rate in the nation. And one of the biggest contributing factors to this is the fact that people are sedentary. I mean, think about it. The typical American lays in bed 8 hours, sleep. They wake up just to drive an hour to work so they can sit in a chair for another 8 hours at a desk doing their work, just so they can sit in their car for another hour to come back. They're exhausted because they haven't moved all day, just so they can sit on their couch for 2 more hours to watch TV so they can lay in bed again. When did they move? When did they actually do things? That is the problem. But most people don't think of exercise and how it's linked to disease. And we are designed, we are programmed, our DNA is programmed for movement. And when you have a lack of exercise, it actually increases your risk of dying from cancer, respiratory ailments, and heart disease. I mean, look at these statistics. 45% higher risk of dying of cancer for men and 28% of women if you are living a sedentary lifestyle. Respiratory ailments, 92% more people die, men die of respiratory issues when they're not moving, and 75% in women, and heart disease is 52% higher in men and 28% higher risk in women for those Americans that are sedentary. Now, one thing that is actually awesome about exercise, and specifically the exercise that we're going to talk about here tonight, is there's a link between exercise and a reduction in anxiety and depression. There was a study out of the British Journal of Sports Medicine that researched, these researchers looked at results of subjects that had a major depressive disorder. And they did training, which included walking on a treadmill, interval training, which is what we're going to talk about here today, 30 minutes a day for just 10 days. So just 10 days of 30 minutes a day exercise. At the end of the study, there was a statistically significant reduction in depression scores for every single one of those participants. So when I have patients that come to me and say, my anxiety is going up, I'm like, are you exercising? And typically the answer is no. So I immediately tell them, let's start doing the Max T3 program. Let's start exercising and watch what happens. Every single time that's happened, they've gotten better. It is absolutely amazing. Not only that will it help you with depression, but exercise might actually make you smarter. This is interesting. A 2012 study showed that sedentary adults that were put through 4 months of high intensity interval training were able to think, recall, and make quick decisions statistically improved. I mean, it was so much more significant. So what that tells you is actually moving, getting oxygen to your cells actually can make your brain function better. I mean, think about it. Have you ever sat all day and then you come home and you're exhausted? And you're like, but I didn't do anything. Why am I so tired? And then there's days that you are moving and moving and moving, and you come home and you're ready to clean the house and cook dinner, and you have all this energy. The reason is, if you think of your brain as your battery, well, we need something to charge that battery, keep it going. Just like in a car, you have a battery, but then you have an alternator, and the alternator basically charges that battery all day when it's driving. Well, in our body, if this is our battery, what charges our brain is actually spinal movement, not just movement of your arms, spinal movement. So when you're doing your wobble cushion exercises, when you're moving, doing these things for your spine, you're actually recharging your brain. This is why days when we are slower in the office, I'm actually more tired than days that we see a lot of people in our office because I'm moving more. So one way to get around that, if you do have a desk job, one, you could sit on your wobble cushion and move. That will help recharge your brain and keep things flowing and actually recharge your brain and recharge that battery. Or you can get a standing desk. And I'd say that the granddaddy of all desks right now is a standing treadmill desk, where you're actually at a desk standing while you're walking. That's pretty progressive and pretty awesome. But I have a lot of people that tell me, well, I'm just too old to exercise. That is not true. A study enrolled 10 nursing home residents over the age of 90 in an 8-week study of high-intensity resistance training. The subjects experienced an average gain in strength of 174%. Mean their thigh muscles increased, their walking speed increased. You're never too old to move, to exercise. It is very, very important. And I hear excuses all the time, though. Why don't you exercise? Well, it hurts to exercise. Well, if you are exercising on a regular basis, it actually reduces pain in your body, reduces inflammation and arthritis. I don't have time to exercise. That's the biggest excuse I hear as to why people don't do the exercises. And the fact of the matter is, you don't need a gym. You don't need hours a week. I only work out 36 minutes a week, and I'm in the best shape of my life right now. So you can do it too. Or I can't afford a gym membership, like I just said. You don't need a gym membership. You can do it at home. In my office, we as a team, we walk the walk. We exercise Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11:15 to 11:30. That includes your warm-up and cool-down, and we are doing that every single week. Consistency is absolutely key. Now, when we were taught how to exercise when we were younger in school, we were taught lift heavy weights, build big muscles, and then burn fat so you can see your muscles, right? In order to burn fat, everybody knows about cardio. You got to get your cardio in. You got to get on a treadmill. You got to get on an elliptical. You got to ride a bike so you can get your heart rate up to what they call the fat burning zone, which is that Orange Fitness 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate, and you got to keep it there so that you can start to burn fat. Here's what happens. Do you burn fat in that zone? The answer is yes, you do. The problem is, once you're done with that workout, your ability to burn fat goes down after 4 hours. You have what's called a 4-hour afterburn. So you only burn fat for 4 hours after one of those workouts. The workouts that we're going to be talking about, you do a 12-minute workout. You burn fat for 36 hours afterwards. It's called that afterburn effect. It's pretty amazing stuff. So what's wrong with the classic cardio? One, it's not very effective. It's not very efficient. I'll just be honest, it's boring. I've done it before. I've done a treadmill. I've done a bike. It is boring. You're doing all this work. You're not getting anywhere, and it's not very efficient. So what happens is, after that workout, your cortisol levels, your stress hormones actually go up. So you become more stressed. Your testosterone, your growth hormone, actually decreases. So testosterone is the one that builds muscle, lean muscle, burns fat. Growth hormone keeps you young. Those things actually go down after a classic cardio workout. And cortisol stimulates appetite. It actually destroys your muscles, like catabolic properties. It can actually slow metabolism, which is why when you're doing these types of workouts, these classic cardio workouts, you have to do them like every single day for it to actually be somewhat efficient and effective. The good news for you is I'm not going to recommend that type of workout. It's boring and it's old school and it doesn't work very well. And it's time consuming. It takes a lot of effort and it's just not very efficient. And I like to be efficient with my time. We only get so much time. Working out is not my number one priority. I know it's important, so I want to do as quickly as possible, but get the most out of it, which is why we have what's called a 12-minute fitness solution. It's our Max T3 program, and it all comes down to metabolic conditioning. The purpose of this is to condition your metabolism to finally start to work for you instead of against you. We don't want to be storing fat. We want to be burning fat. And the characteristics, how does metabolic conditioning work? Basically, it's characterized as short surges of high intensity, short duration exercise. So that means if you are a runner, so the cool thing about this whole metabolic conditioning is you don't have to do our program. Our program's there to make it easy for people that don't already exercise. You can actually take the principles behind metabolic conditioning and add it to anything that you already do. So if you're a runner, what you would do is you would jog for 20 seconds, and then you would sprint for 20 seconds, and then you would jog for 20 seconds, and then sprint for 20 seconds. Biker, same thing. Okay, so if you're already doing some of these exercises, you can do that with the things you already like to do. And what you're doing is you're getting your heart rate up to 90 to 100% of the maximum heart rate for short bits of time. Only for 12 minutes. You don't have to do it for 30 minutes. You don't have to do the insanity workout for an hour. That's insane. You only need 12 to 15 minutes of this type of workout. And what happens is it changes the cascade of metabolism and hormones after you're done. So when you're going up and down with that heart rate, this is what happens. It increases your human growth hormone. It makes you feel younger, makes you last longer. It increases your testosterone, which means you're now going to start to burn fat and you're going to start to build muscle. It causes this whole cascade causes a continuous burn. That afterburn is not 4 hours like your traditional cardio. It's 36 hours. It doesn't cause muscle wasting like your typical cardio. It has muscle building. It also increases your sensitivity to insulin, which will help burn fat, reduce obesity, and actually help you if you are type 2 or borderline diabetic. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, some studies came out that back in 1997 that showed that there was a significant loss in body fat in a group that exercised at the high intensity, 80 to 90% of their maximum heart rate. Yet the people that were doing in that same group that were doing the lower intensity, more like traditional cardio, at 60 to 70% of their maximum heart rate, had no significant change in their body fat. And the workload between the two was no different. It was just where their heart rate was. So it is intense, but it's short, thank goodness. So what's neat about these high intensity exercises, they can actually reverse most of what they call metabolic disease, which risk factors are associated with metabolic syndrome, diabetes, heart disease, obesity, even cancers. And there was a study that showed after 16 weeks of this high intensity exercise program, almost half the patients that were enrolled in this study no longer had metabolic syndrome. This is the best part, without making any changes to their diet. So all they did was add this type of exercise. Again, heart rate, that's very important. No changes to their diet, and they all saw impressive gains with their consistent and moderate exercise. Pretty awesome stuff. So again, I kind of already talked about this, how to do this surge type metabolic conditioning. Get your heart rate up for short bits of time, whether you're cycling, sprinting, climbing stairs, doing the elliptical, squat, thrust, lunges. We like to do all over our body at the same time. So what we do is we do what's called a max T3 program. The reason why it's called T3, it stands for time, type, and tempo. Time meaning how long are you doing it, which is short duration. Type, what type of exercise, and then tempo, the rate, the rhythm, the frequency, and the intensity. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is an intense workout. Okay, it is an intense workout, but like I said, it's short. So after you do and I'm going to go over how to do these, and we're going to go through the website here at the end. But after you do a workout, what's really important is not eating carbohydrates afterwards. You don't want to really eat carbs for about 2 hours after exercise. What you want to do is get something in there that, like a smoothie, some high fat, high protein smoothie. So we have grass-fed whey protein. This would be a great time to do a smoothie. A Max Fit supplement, which has glutamine. It has creatine, which helps you build muscle, burn fat, those types of things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch gears here, and we are going to go to the website. And I hope that switched over. It looks like it did. Good. And now I'm going to show you how to actually access these plans. So what you're going to do is if you are a patient of mine, you should have, and started care, you should have gotten a book and a bookmark. And the bookmark is your Max T3 program. It's got a code on it. So what you do is you go to maxt3.com, and you can go to where it says buy. What happened there? Buy your digital, or you can go ahead and sign in. So if you go to sign in, well, mine already is signed in, but it says enter a code, create an account, or purchase an account. It's only, if you don't have this already and you want access to it, it's only $19.99. You can go ahead and buy your account. And it's only a one-time deal, which is ridiculously inexpensive for what it offers. And you can access it on your iPad, any device that you can get on the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and log into our account, and you'll see the Max T3 dashboard. So the Max T3 dashboard, as we go down, you're going to see a lot of different things. You're going to see module 1, which is your fast and super fast. You're going to see module 2, which is your 40-20 and Tabata. We'll go through those here in a second. Where do you think we're going to start? Let's start with module 1. So we're going to go to module 1, which is the original Max T3 workout. If you still have the DVDs, this is exactly what the DVDs were in a digital format. So you can watch the pre-log for the very first time. I would also watch the warm-ups for the very first time you do it. It kind of just gives you a good idea of how to get the blood flowing, the blood pumping, get oxygen going. So before, you always want to warm up before you do an exercise. Now, if you look here, you'll see we have the super fast workout, and then we have the fast workout. Which one do you think sounds easier? I would think the fast would be easier. But in fact, the super fast is where I would want you to start. The difference between the two is super fast is 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off for 12 minutes. So they take 6 exercises and you do 3 sets of each exercise and then you're done. Now the fast is 6 exercises. You're doing it for 1 whole minute each time, and then you get a 1-minute break and then you do the whole thing again. I find that the fast one is a little bit more difficult because you actually are creating more endurance, where I feel like the super fast is more power, burning fat, really getting that cardio going. So I would suggest starting with the super fast. And as you can see, we have a super fast upper, a super fast lower, a super fast core, and then we have a super fast surge. Then there's another upper 2 and a lower 2. So what I do, and when we've done this before, I would do super fast upper, then one day, super fast lower the next day, and then super fast core the next time. So that's 3 in a week. The next week, I would do the other upper, the other lower, and then I would do the surge. Honestly, you could do that back and forth for months and feel great and get a lot of results out of that. If you would like to do that for maybe a month or 2, that'd be great, and then you can try the fast. Once you do those for a good bit, then what I would suggest doing is when you're getting a little bit more advanced, you would want to go to module 2. And module 2 is your 40-20 and Tabata. 40-20 takes 2 exercises, and you do it 6 sets, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And so if it's push-ups and sit-ups, you're doing 6 sets of push-ups, then 6 sets of sit-ups. So it's intense. You'll be sore after this, okay? That's the 40-20, and then Tabata takes 4 different exercises, and you do 8 sets of each, and you're doing 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So it's still a pretty fast-paced workout. At the bottom of this, you'll see some different bonuses, quick sets. The 6-minute six-pack is a great one because it's 6 minutes of abs. It's just boom, 6 minutes. You're just constantly doing things for your abs. I have no problem adding that in. Now, very important, I have a lot of patients who are like, wait, I'm not very advanced. I don't know how to do this. And here's the good news. You don't have to be good at any of this yet. So with every single one of these workouts, there are 3 people doing the workout. There is a beginner that is in gray. There is an intermediate that is in red, and then there's the advanced person in black. So for every exercise, you just do what you're comfortable doing. So for squats, it might be too much for your knees. You're going to do the modified version of the beginner. But for lunges, it doesn't hurt your knees. You could maybe do the advanced. So you're going to follow the one that is doing what you can do. And your goal should always be to improve. So that is really what I needed you to understand, how to do this, where to start. As you can see, again, there's a bonus nutritional information, the Max T3 manual. There's a whole bunch of awesome resources on this website. But the good news is we're here to help. If you have any questions, let us know. Don't push yourself too hard, but don't not push yourself enough to get these results. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. But I'd suggest 3 exercises a week. And if you did it right, you should be sore the next day. I did have a patient once who said, I did 3 of them in one day. I said, you did it wrong. Because if you did it right, you're only going to be able to do 1 a day. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you understand and have any questions. Again, let us know. And I look forward to hearing how sore you get from the workout. I hope you have a great one.